Radio Raheem here with Dillian White at, of all places, the Dart World Championship. I've never been here before.
Me too, bro.
Is this your first time?
Yeah, we're both virgins.
I see these guys, you know, they come out, they're throwing these bullseyes, they're like really on target with their shots. Is there anything about darts that relates to boxing so much as you've seen?
You gotta get really drunk.
Yeah.
The drunker you are, the better your darts throw is. That's what they do, you drink and throw darts. No, of course, it's a skill. It's a skill, it's a craft, it's something that you have to practice hours and hours and hours and hours, you know. I'm sure if we practice enough, we could both be decent dart players as well, you know.
I see a lot of right hand work in darts. I've seen a lot of right hand work in your fights as well.
I try.
That seems to be your knockout punch. Talk to me about, you talk about skill and time and what you have to put in the effort. We've seen over the past few years, you really putting the effort in, not just in the gym, but it shows in the ring. What made you turn that corner and feel like you needed to get more fit, more accurate? How did you become the Dillian White that you are today?
I came up across a world-class athlete who was training like a world-class, so I was training by myself, just doing my own thing. I trained hard, I've always trained hard, but the wrong training. Then I realized that something needed to change. I had to chat to my team and they was very honest with me. They just said, you know, what you're doing is nonsense, basically. And then so I said, all right, what do we do? And then they took control, because I had a lot of control before. I was just doing my thing, I was fighting, I was knocking people out, so there's nothing that needed changing. And then we came up against the small margin, and then it was like, okay, time to change.
That seemed to be the setup for you and Chisora the first time. Two bangers, two guys that like to stand in the middle of the ring and just trade shots. But since then, I've seen you box a bit better. Beating Joseph Parker was no small feat. He's an excellent boxer. You were able to best him, and yet you're still heavy-handed enough to get the knockout against Lucas Brown. What have you added to your repertoire to make you a more succinct, accurate boxer?
Professionalism and consistency. That's it. More professional, more consistency, you know. And that's all I've had it, man. Just training right, being a professional, giving up a massive part of me and trusting the people around me to look after me, you know what I mean? And obviously, you know, new people being added to the team and trusting them, trusting their experience and what they bring to the table, which is a very difficult thing to do, especially with new people as well, you know.
Well, for Chisora's sake, he seems to be somewhat on the same course. He's got new people. He seems newly dedicated to his fitness, and you know, the fight between the two of you seemed to make an impression on him. Like he felt like he needed to make changes. I'm sure you're aware of those changes. He's a bit more physically fit. He's got David Hay in his corner now, somewhat guiding the training. Do you feel like the Chisora you face on Saturday night will be different than the one you faced the first time?
Difference could mean one or two things. It could mean it could be worse or it could be better, you know. But I'm not really worried about what Chisora turned up. I'm just more concerned about what Dillian White turned up, because the Dillian White that fought him then and the Dillian White of today is two different, complete Dillian White. So I'm not worried about who he's got around him, what he's got around him, what he's done, whatever. I'm just worried about, you know what I mean, just doing what I've been working on and just showing the world what I'm capable of. I'm not really bothered about what he does, who he's with. Chisora, innit?
Is it though? The fight between the two of you, the margin was very close. You know, some people even thought Chisora won. Most people thought that you won, but it's a very close fight. One thing changes, it could change the outcome.
Go back and look at his experience and look at my experience then, and look at the fights I had and what happened in my career. And now go back and look at both of our career now. So, you know, if he couldn't beat me then, I doubt he stand a chance of doing it this time. You know, that was the right time for him then. Coming off major surgery, inexperience, second time going scheduled for a 12-rounder, while he had 1,000 12-rounders. You know, I'm, you know, still doubting my fitness, my conditioning, my mental state, my injuries and stuff. You know what I mean? It takes a while to recover and to be 100% from injuries, as his master David A. would tell you himself. So, you know, but now we're in a good place. We've trained hard, we graft hard, you know, camp has been very hard and it's been testing, and I've risen to every single thing they've asked of me and improved and got better at everything that they asked of me.
It seems like the both of you are on the same page as far as getting physically better, but you mentioned the mental state. Everybody's seeing the face-off now. The exchange between the two of you harkens right back to the first fight. The bad blood is still there. There's some talk of you casting a spell on him, some kind of curse on him. We know he famously threw a table at you in the first fight. Is the mental aspect of this fight as volatile as it was the first time? Do you guys have more respect now that you've actually faced each other in the ring, or has the rivalry, the bitterness deepened?
When you go to war with someone, you respect them, you know what I mean? You ultimately respect them anyway, but the rivalry is still there, you know. But I am me, man. I'm just so I am. I never change, man. I am who I am, you know what I mean? I get smarter, I get more controlled, I'm more consistent, but I am me, man. I am who I am. I'm the same. If he was here and he started talking smack to me, then I'll get back to him. If he stepped to me, I'll step back to him. That's me, but I just choose when I step to him, when and what I say to him. That's how I was before. I was young, a lot of rage. I was, but all of it is still there, but I just know what to do with it and how to distribute it and when to distribute it. That's all.
Now, he seems convinced that you cast a spell on him the first time, and this time you've done it again. Yeah, I've spoken to him. He feels like you've done some kind of voodoo, witchcraft, magic, black magic against him. Is there any truth to that? Are you casting spells, man?
I wish I had the power to cast spells. I'd have been a billionaire by now. I just go to the bank and start casting spells at the bank people to give me money. I don't know to cast no damn spell. What? I don't know to cast no damn spell. I wish I did know to cast spells though, but I don't know to cast. I just spoke to him in native tongue and he didn't understand. So ignorance is something that's dangerous. He panicked because I could have said hello to him. He doesn't know. I could have said anything to him and he thinks the spell. Because he's a sort of skittish, paranoid kind of character.
The British Board of Boxing has warned the both of you about the kind of interaction you had in the first fight. Obviously, the throwing of the table, some of the banter was over the line.
I had no warning from no one because I didn't do anything. I had no warning. I didn't do anything. I said what was on my mind. He snapped. He went off. I didn't do anything. I'm cool. I'm alright, man. I've always been alright with you. I'm alright. I'm the same. Since you've been interviewing me, have I changed in any way? I'm just the same. I have a laugh. I'm cool. I speak to you. I see you. Yo, what up? And I interview you. I said, Radio Raheem here, blah, blah, blah. I'm the same. I just do the same stuff, bro. I'm easy, man.
Do you think winding him up for this fight is an advantage to you? I mean, you obviously got his head the first time. He was incredibly angry. Is that something that you intend to do this time to keep the advantage?
I don't need to do any of that for no advantage, I don't try to make these guys angry. These guys say stuff to me, and then what am I going to do? I'm a street kid. I've been in the street since I was like 4 or 5 years old. I'm a street kid, so if you bring heat to me, I know to survive, so I bring it back. And what my father teach me: if a bully step to you, punch him in the face. And it works 90% of the time. So if you step to me a certain way, I'll do that to you, and that's what I know to do. So, but I don't need to get in anyone's head or whine. He gets in his own head. It's a man that threatened to kill a guy because the guy took his parking space, and the guy was about 60 or something, or 70. He just gets in his own head.
You might remember the first time I interviewed you, the first time I was over was you and Joshua. There was a narrative there, you're a street guy, whatever. Josh was like polished, and that was the way the fight was built. And again, that fight at that point, you were the first one to rock Joshua. It didn't go the way you had hoped, but you said on the night that your goal was to build back to a point when you could challenge for that world title again. You felt like maybe you were a round away from being world champion.
It's crazy.
And now Joshua's coming to your fight Saturday night. Everyone knows he's already announced he'll be sitting ringside. You can't be in the ring with Chisora and not thinking that maybe you win this fight and you get back to that goal.
I can. These are the things I've learned in the last few years. Be channeled, be focused on the event, what I gotta do. Not here fighting and be thinking about what my dog is doing or how did I feed the cat, or no, be focused. I'm here to do a job. That's it. When the job's done, we'll sit down and it's about step by step, man. Yeah, Joshua can do what he wants, say what he wants. He can even stick his finger up to me in the ring. I'll just get on. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. I understand certain things now that I didn't understand before. And it's great to be in this position to just, think, a couple years ago that wound me up. It's good. It's good, Experience is bliss.
For a bit, it was a possibility that instead of Parker, maybe you would end up having faced Wilder. Now that Wilder's faced Fury, that big fight that took place, I know you're a fight fan and an analyst in your own right. I know you watched it. What'd you make of the fight? Who'd you think won it?
I think it was a great fight. Firstly, it was a great fight, and it's great that two of the top guys risked the undefeated record, which is something that fighters is scared to risk, is the undefeated record. I know Vola said, if you fight good fighters, you will get put in your ass and you will have a on your record if you fight good fighters. It was a great fight. I think Deontay Wilder got outboxed and got controlled. The knockdowns muddied the water a bit, but I still think Tyson Fury won by at least 2 rounds. But to go to America and beat an American champion if they haven't been a reigning champion for so long, so it takes something special. And I think Tyson himself knew that. So that's why he didn't really make a big fuss at the end of the fight. He just knew that he didn't get knocked out, stood up, and he did himself and his family proud. So what more can you ask from him, Coming off a big layoff, he fought 2 tomato cans, and that just shows Deontay Wilder's level. That shows his level.
What level? What level?
That shows how bad he is, Shows how bad he is.
They say when 2 undefeated fighters face each other, somebody's O has got to go. Every now and then that's not true. This fight ended up in a draw.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one, actually. Right? I just clocked that as you were saying. That's a good one. That's a good one.
For the sake of both fights, I think they're probably going to end up in a rematch, and probably neither one of them faces Joshua in April. So if that is the case, if they face each other again, knowing what we now know, how do you think that fight goes?
I think it's going to be. I don't think the rematch is going to be as good as the first fight, because Wilder's going to be even more cagey, and Tyson Fury is going to be even more cagey. Because Wilder's the kind of guy, I think from watching him, stuff gets to him. Like the fact that Fury got up in the last round, the fact that Fury made him miss and look silly, he would try and be a bit more patient and try and take his time, and he would get frustrated as well. So I don't think it'll be as good fight, but the anticipation will be great.
Matching your skills, you've been in the ring with Joshua once already. That's got to be an advantage. You've told us a bit what you think about Wilder. Of these 3 heavyweights, 2 of them holding belts and Tyson claiming the lineal championship, who do you think you match up against best?
I match up best against any of them. They're all hard fights. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this guy is easier, that guy. One's got movement, one's got punch power, the other one's got boxing skill and punch power. One's stiff, one can't take a punch, and one is just awkward. So, but that's the great thing about me. As a fighter, I can adapt to different style. I fought different guy, I fought tall guy, short guy. I fought all different style, and I find a way of adapting. I fought athletic guy, quick guy, strong guy, big guys, and I'm very good at adapting. I'm very good at adapting and working things out as well. Got it wrong once, but hey, no one's perfect. I took too long to work it out.
Of the 3 of those guys, who do you think is the best among them? How would you rank 1, 2, 3?
I can't rate my competition, man. I can't rate my competition like that, man. People analyze these videos and they watch these videos, and I can't rate them. They're all good fighters. I'm not going to say this guy's better than him or he's harder than him or no, they're all good fighters.
Is there one you prefer to face?
Any one of them. They're big fights. One's former world champion and the other 2's world champion. They're massive fights. After this fight, there's only 4 fights out there for me, and it's Joshua, Wilder, Fury, Dominic Brazil. That's it.
Dominic Brazil being an American, this fight now with Chisora being on Showtime just recently announced. Everybody over here, when I talk to them, is keen on saying, oh, we don't care about America. We don't have to be big there. It doesn't matter.
You gotta care about America. It's like, it's been the mecca of heavyweight boxing for years. Britain's like sort of taking over now, but is still the place to be in it. Madison Square Garden, Vegas, and all of that. You know, and it's proper heavyweight linear history. You know what I mean? Fighting in those venues and following the footstep of all the great champions before us. We've had some great champions here as well, but you know.
To be fair, I thought Chisora White was fight of the year the first time out, but it didn't have an American broadcast, so the writers didn't know, and it didn't get, I thought, the accolades it deserves. Now you're going to be on American TV. Obviously,
I think
you'll be here.
Showtime picked up a bit of the Chisora, the first fight.
They didn't run it though. They didn't run the full fight. They may have run clips as a part of a package.
They run a few rounds. I think they did run a few rounds.
Right. We didn't do it justice because it was a tremendous fight.
I know.
But my point is, now that you've built to a point where they are going to invest in your fight, you're going to be on television in America. Is it important to you to be a star there? Does that give you more leverage to get the kind of fights that you want?
I want to be a heavyweight that's known around the world, not just in Britain and America. I mean, my goal is to reach out to every country and every state. You know, I mean, not just Britain and America. You know, I'm not a guy that's represent Britain or represent Jamaica or represent Ireland. I try and represent everyone and reach out to everyone of every race, every color, every country, and all walks of life. That's one of my goals in life, not just be like a Britain world heavyweight champion. No.
You mentioned Dominic Brazil. There's another guy over there named Big Baby Miller who's also working with Eddie Hearn. Seems like a possible fight for you. Are you interested in either one of those fights? Would you travel to America to have those fights? Or maybe even Deontay Wilder?
I'll travel to America to fight Dominic Brazil. I'll definitely travel to America to fight Dominic Brazil. You know, Miller, he had his chance. I could have been fighting him this week. We offered him the fight. He turned it down. He publicly said, I do not want to fight Dillian White. So I don't understand, why is he calling my name? He needs to go and change his diaper.
Lastly, Dylan, you know, 2019 is coming up. Your star is rising. If this fight on Saturday night goes the way you expect and you're victorious, what does 2019 bring for Dillian White? What's the best position you see yourself in the coming year?
Challenge for a heavyweight world title and winning it. I'm running off into the night for 6 months. Just running off into the night for 6 months.
Radio Raheem with Dillian White, the body snatcher, snatching bodies and looking to run off into that dark night for 6 months. Good luck on Saturday night, man. Thank you for the time. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. The body snatcher, Dillian White with Radio Raheem.